Before 9 o'clock in the morning, Muslim faithfuls had since besieged the Bauchi Eid ground to observe the 2 rakat prayers marking the end of the Ramadan fast. Governor Bala Muhammad was represented by his deputy Muhammad Awal Jatau, who led top government officials to attend the Eid prayer. Imam of Bauchi Al-Hajr Al-Wan Suleiman Adamu and other traditional title holders were also present at the Eid ground. Chief Imam of Bauchi Central Mosque Sheikh Bala Ahmad Baban Inna led the 2 rakat prayer. In his khutbah, the chief imam urged Muslims to sustain their acts of worship beyond the Ramadan period. Sheikh Bala Ahmad Baban Inna said in the current situation, Muslims should continue to pray for the peace of the state, country and the world for sustainable growth and development. Upon return to the government house, the state deputy governor Muhammad Awal Jatau spoke to government house correspondents on behalf of Governor Bala Muhammad, where he appreciates people of Bauchi state for their continuous support to the administration. He appealed to the people of the state to continue to support security agents with useful information on the activities of men of the underworld, reiterating his administration's commitment to continue to provide dividends of democracy to the people.
I will wish to appeal to the people of Bauchi State to work with us as a government, to cooperate with us to ensure that our noble objective of protecting the life and property of citizens is holistically realized and achieved. We also pray that people should conduct their Salah festivities peacefully, and also to make sure that we support especially the needy, as it is the responsibility of each and every one of us who is able to do so in order to seek the support, blessings and support of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
John Habila Mure, reporting.
The Emir said every parent is responsible for the upbringing of his wards, as they may be asked in the hereafter. The Emir attributed the issue of youth restiveness and other forms of social biases to the lack of parental care. Dr. Umar Farooq, the second father, explained that the future of any nation depends on the youth as future leaders, hence they need to be guided. The Emir also urged youth to engage in visible ventures and shun any form of negative tendencies. He applauded the effort of Islamic scholars who conducted tafsir during Ramadan, asking the people of his domain to make good use of the lessons learned. In his sermon, shortly after the 2 rakat prayers, the chief imam of Katagum, Malam Abu Muhammad, congratulated Muslims the world over with the successful completion of Ramadan tafsir and Salah celebrations. Malam Abu Muhammad charged worshippers to practicalize the lessons of Ramadan and called for Muslims to also fast for 6 days in the month of Shawwal. He said whosoever fasts for 6 days after Ramadan will be considered as he fasted for the whole year. The Imam had earlier led 2 rakat prayers shortly after the arrival of the Emir of Katagum, Dr. Umar Farooq II, and his entourage. Later, the Emir went back to his palace in a car and received a homage from his traditional title holders from the emirate. The Salah was conducted peacefully in Katagum Emirate, and the Eid ground was full to capacity. From Azari, the headquarters of Katagum Emirate, Salisu Bala Halluru, BTV News.
The Eid Al-Fitr Salah in Misau this year was celebrated in a colorful way, unlike last year Eid Al-Kabir Salah when the celebration was low-key due to the absence of the Emir who went for a pilgrimage. By 8 p.m., the Misau Eid Central Praying Ground was full to capacity waiting for the arrival of the Emir of Misau. The arrival of the Emir at around 10 a.m. signaled the commencement of the prayers led by the Chief Imam of Misau, Ustaz Usman Muhammad Baba. Delivering the sermon, Ustaz Usman Muhammad Baba, while congratulating people for the successful completion of the Ramadan fast, enjoined people to continue to reflect on the lessons learned during the month of Ramadan. Ustaz Usman Muhammad Baba called on parents to always take the responsibility of monitoring the movement of their children, especially girl child, adding that the way and manner in which reported cases of missing of children, especially girls, is getting out of hand. The chief imam, who blamed parents for their nonchalant attitude toward the welfare of their children, enjoined parents to remember that Allah has entrusted the children to them and they will answer questions on how they treated them in no distant future. From the Eid praying ground, traditionally the Emir rode on horseback through some major streets to the Emir's palace. This year also is not an exemption, as the Emir, amid drum beats, went through some major streets, acknowledging cheers to the palace, where a mini daba was organized in front of the palace. From Misau, Aliyu Sambu reporting for BATV News.
Thousands of worshippers had trooped to the central Eid ground, and the arrival of the Emir Alhaji Nuhu Ahmad Wabi signaled the commencement of the 2 Rak'at prayer. In his sermon shortly after the prayer, Chief Imam of Jama'ah Rimaram Harisu Dauda advised Muslims to sustain the good lessons of Ramadan for the rest of their lives. He said the world is but a temporary place, admonishing Muslims to fear Allah in all their endeavors. Back at the palace, the traditional Daba was staged, where traditional title holders renewed their loyalty to the Emir. In his Salah message, the Emir of Jama'ari, Alhaji Nuhu Ahmad Wabi, congratulated Muslims for witnessing yet another Eid Al-Fitr, appealing to state government to renovate dilapidated schools in the emirate, but called on teachers to be prompt on their duties with a view to earning lawful salaries. He also called on the government to employ additional teachers to bridge the gap that exists. The Emir also called on people to support security agencies for a safer society, describing security as everyone's business. In general, the Salah celebration in Jama'ar Emirate was peaceful and colorful. Abubakar Abdul Qadir, BATV News.
The monarch revealed that Bauchi State had enjoyed peace due to various efforts put by the government in collaboration with the traditional institutions. He also urged farmers to take advantage of the rain by engaging in the early farming to boost food security in the local government and the state at large. The monarch also called for support for the current administration while lauding the various interventions projects geared towards improving the lives of residents. He thanks the state governor, Bala Muhammad, for the developmental projects across the state. Meanwhile, in his Salah message, the executive chairman of Ningi local government area, Alhaji Nasiru Zakare, called on people of the area to replicate the lessons of the fast in their daily living. Alhaji Nasuru urged the residents not to lose sight in pace of the current socio-economic and security challenges bedeviling the country. He advised people of Ningi local government area to show love to one another as well as promote harmony and peaceful coexistence. According to him, the local government administration has put measures in place to ensure the security of lives and property of the citizens. Also in his sermon, the chief imam of Ningi Emirate, Dr. Umar Liman, urged Muslims in the emirate to assist less privileged ones in the society. Umar Liman also drew the attention of Muslims Ummah to adopt Ramadan lessons in their daily lives. The Speaker State House of Assembly, Abubakar Y. Suleiman, congratulated Muslims for the completion of 2025 Ramadan, urging them to continue supporting government policy for the state to move forward. There was a mini dava by traditional title holders at the Emir's Palace. Ningi, Abdullahi Shehu Yankari reporting.
Muslim faithfuls from within and outside the town started trooping to the Eid ground at about 8 a.m., mostly dressed in new attire, signifying the festive mood. Shortly on the arrival of the Emir of Das, Alhaji Usman Bilyamin Osman II at about 9:30 a.m., the Deputy Chief Imam of Das Jumaat Mosque, Ustaz Isiaka Ismail, led the 2-rakat congregational prayer. Allahu Akbar. اللهم ربنا ولك الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر. Delivering his sermon after the prayer, the Deputy Chief Imam expressed gratitude to God for witnessing yet another Eid. He reminded Muslims on the importance of giving out Zakat al-Fitr, while urging Muslims to continue with the good teachings of the Ramadan fast. He warned against going back to negative ways of life, saying it will be counterproductive. He commended the state government under Governor Bala Abdul Qadir Muhammad for ensuring peace and tranquility prevails in the state. Emir of Das, Alhaji Usman Bilyamin Osman II, rode on horseback from the Eid ground back to the palace. While at the palace, the Emir received homage from traditional title holders in a colorful daba. In a Salah message after the Daba, the Emir reminded his subjects on the importance of peaceful coexistence, which he said is the bedrock of any meaningful development. Alhaji Usman Bilyamin Othman II also charged his people, especially pregnant women, to ensure that they go for antenatals for their safety and that of their unborn children. Turning to the state government, the Emir expressed gratitude of his emirate to the governor for providing meaningful projects in the area which have direct bearing on the lives of his people. He assured that the emirate will remain committed to the ideals of the government, which are people-oriented. Alhaji Usman Bilyamin Othman II, while thanking God for his bounties and blessings, prayed that we will spare our lives to witness more Eid festivities. From Das, Nasiru Abdullahi Kobi reporting.
The 2 Rakat Eid prayer was led by Ustaz Bashir Suleiman Yusuf and attended by a large congregation of Muslim faithfuls who gathered for the special prayer, after which families and friends exchanged greetings. In his sermon, Ustaz Bashir Suleiman Yusuf emphasized the importance of reflecting on the lessons learned during the month of Ramadan and sustain them throughout the year. He encouraged Muslims to translate the good batches of Ramadan, such as increased devotion, self-control and compassion, into their day-to-day activities. He admonished Muslims, especially well-to-do, to extend the gesture of loving one another and extending the good gesture to the needy even after the holy month of Ramadan. Also in an interview, State Chairman Jamaatul Izalatul Bid'ah wa Iqamatus Sunnah Ustaz Zubairu Abubakar Madaki enjoined Muslims to sustain the lesson learned during the month of Ramadan and offer praise for God Almighty to overcome the challenges being faced in the country. Bello Muhammadan reporting.
Immediately after the Eid Al-Fitr prayer, Imam Mahmoud Isa Dugri presented his sermon charging Muslims to continue to practice good lessons learned during the 29 days fasting period. He noted that the Muslims, rich and poor, learn and test the torment of hunger, which he said is supposed to teach the well-to-do in the society to support poor with food and other necessities even after the fasting period. Imam Isa Dugri stressed the importance of living in peace with one another, saying that only when there is peace, people will be able to practice their religious rites as well as perform other duties that will bring development to the society. The Imam also reminded the Muslim Ummah to continue to pray to God to accept all the ibadat offered throughout the Ramadan period and even after the month. He noted that was the practice of companions of the Prophet, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, saying that they continue to pray for the acceptance of their prayers up to 6 months after Ramadan period. The Imam stressed that Muslim Ummah cannot be successful as they're supposed to be unless they follow the footsteps of those righteous people before them. Despite the economic hardship being experienced in the country, people dressed in new and clean clothes and drove to the Kasuan Shanu Eid ground to observe the 2025 Eid Al-Fitr prayers, which signifies the end of a month of fasting period. Obakar Shehu Abdullahi reporting for BATV News.
Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Al-Maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen.
This is Yelwan Kagadama Eid ground, where thousands of worshippers gathered to observe their 2 Rakat prayer for this year's Eid Al-Fitr, which marked the end of this year's Ramadan. Speaking shortly after leading the prayer, Imam Yusuf Yakubu Muhammad congratulated the Ummah for witnessing the period, urging them to maintain the good deeds even after the months. Imam Yusuf emphasized that Islam is the highest blessing from Allah, saying Muslims should appreciate the blessing by obeying God's instruction, which are meant for their benefit. The Imam also used the medium to call on leaders at all levels to administer fair treatment for the benefit of humanity.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Salmanu Idris Dajin reporting for BATV News.